Good morning, all of you. As a part of revision classes, today I would like to discuss on innovations in Indian banking system. And if you see the Indian banking system, it has played a big role in Indian economy. And whatever the changes that have been happening from 1969, that is when we started first nationalization of bank has happened, and later 1980s also the nationalization has happened of various banks. And along with that, we also witnessed from 1980s, that is late 1980s, a lot of innovations that have been taken place in Indian banking system. And Indian banking sector has found a lot of changes, and it is mainly due to the challenges that are about changing needs and preferences and perceptions of customers, as well as the new regulations and even the advancements in technologies. So due to all these reasons, the innovations are being taken place in banking system. And this innovative approach is due to the objective of improving value for the customers in banks. And you know that at present it is more of electronic payments as well as currency notes, both are available, and make it more liquidity and safety. We need to have these innovations. And you know that in 2017 November 8th, it was first, that is demonetization has taken place, and it also brought a lot of changes in Indian banking system. And from that onwards, digital banking system has been improved. So moreover, digital transactions are happening, and the percentage of digital transaction has got improved. And at the same time, even you can see the pandemic like corona is also making the world to more of digital transactions. The country like India has got an opportunity to improve on these digital transactions. And if you see the overall how these innovations have started and how it is at present, the like arrival of cards like credit and debit cards, electronic clearing services ECS, it was in 1990s, and electronic fund transfer and RTGS, we know this as a very common term, real time gross settlement, a national electronic fund transfer NFT here, and as well as mobile banking and online banking. And Indian banking sector has placed a greater emphasis on technology and innovation in 1990s, because the kind of changes that happened in industry and economy, where LPG system, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization, that has been brought into Indian context, where that has made people to bring lot of changes. And the even banking system started to bring changes in its services, like financial innovation associated with technological advancements. This has been a great tremendous change in banking philosophy, and it made even the banks to improve the competition. And you see that competition is making it mandatory for the banks to bring that innovations. And when you talk about important events in Indian banking system, you see the advancements happened in 1980s and 1990s, that is late 1980s and 1990s, where arrival of card based payments have started. It is about debit and credit cards. And then in 1990s, late 1990s, we can see this electronic clearing service ECS. And it is 2000s, it is early 2000s, where EFT has taken place, where electronic fund transfer. And then in March 2004, this RTGS has been introduced, real time gross settlement, and where a huge amount of money can be transferred at a time without any kind of delays, just with the instruction. And then in 2008, you can see 2005 and 6, we got NEFT, national electronic fund transfer. Within the country we can transfer the money with a very quick and easy way. And then 2008 we got this advancement in check truncation system. So these are the various events that have happened regarding these innovative methods. And then coming to the concept like e-banking, understand about e-banking. Here it is a major innovation in banking. It means it's a provision of banking products and services by banks directly to customers, like through electronic delivery channels. So instead of having any mediation, like any kind of mediation, we are directly, that means the banks can directly have these transactions with the customers, where electronic delivery channels helps the customers to improve their services. And when you talk about the benefits of this e-banking, so we got various benefits, like it is a twofold benefits or twofold advantage for both the bank as well as for the customers or users. And when we talk about these advantages, here you're going to have better brand image to banks, obviously, because it is an advantage of the banks, and due to the more flexibility, and it is 24/7 service that will be given to the customers, and moreover, like flexible, and it is easy method that is being adapted, so that customization has improved. And then operational cost of banking would come down. We know that due to this e-banking system, more infrastructure cost, you can say the resources cost, that is manpower cost, all these will come down, and it will help the banks to improve their profit margins. And customers can enjoy banking products at reduced cost. Even not only banks, but even customers are also going to reduce their cost when it comes to banking. And due to these more innovations, and due to the higher technology, that is improved technology, it is making the customers to have this better service with a lesser cost or lesser price. And then quicker, easier, and faster access to information. So customers, on the customer point of view, customers can understand and can easily get the transparent, accurate information with such quick pace, as well as an easy mode, and also with flexible method. And then it facilitates pre-authorized direct withdrawals for marking bill payments. This is one more advantage what the customer is going to get enjoyed. And one more very important thing is it actually facilitate to improve the e-commerce, like online purchase of goods and services, and online payments are also can be made through e-banking. So due to this particular thing, it is actually making an impact on e-commerce, so that this is also one more industry where really affected by this e-banking system. And then facilitates electronic fund transfer. We got various fund transfer methods, and this is also one such advantage what we got with e-banking. Okay, so next move to the debit card. Here, understanding about debit card. And debit card is the most common facility, and it is a normal facility. Even for a normal customer can avail this service without any kind of trouble. And it is just like a normal bank account system, and it is also called as an electronic check. We know that it works as an electronic check, as the funds are withdrawn directly from either bank account or from the remaining bank balance on the card. So that is an advantage we got. And credit card, it is a card entitling its holders to buy goods and services based on the holder's promise to pay for those goods and services. Whatever the payments he has made with the help of credit card, he should promise to pay in the future. That means the card may avail some fees or whatever it is he is supposed to pay. And this is also going to be for selective customers or selective users, rather than for all the general users. The use of these cards grants a line of credit to the consumer user, from which the user can borrow money for payments to a merchant. So a merchant can be paid directly with the help of this particular thing. Then coming to the internet banking. So you know that internet banking, it is also a service provided bank, so that people can find out information about their bank account, pay bills, or transactions using the internet service. So here internet is going to play a key role, and you know that certain e-banking is also going to be associated with internet banking. So it is the use of electronic means to transfer funds directly from one account to other. So instead of going with physical check or any such instrument or any physical currency, it is better to use this, so that the risk, or you can say the comfort, is going to get improved. And at the same time, modern banks are always trying to improve the security and also control the risk, avoid the risk that is associated with any kind of transactions. Now next thing is Demat. So Demat account, we have come across this word called Demat account. This is called as dematerialized account. It is mainly for those whatever that having physical stock shares. So in case of these trading shareholders, they're going to have this Demat account, which is mandatory to dematerialize whatever that is there in the paper based physical stock shares. Then moving to the next concept, that is service RTGS. Here RTGS, real time gross settlement, and it is one such service that actually helps the customers to improve the service based on the larger amounts and with the quicker pace. As we mentioned, the quicker service, so called as flexible and quicker service, this real time settlement is going to happen here. So real time in the sense, whenever any such instruction has been received, that will be executed at the time they are received rather than doing at at some time later. That means not taking any kind of delay for the purpose of doing this service. Like gross settlement, it is the settlement of funds transfer instructions occurs individually, so that settlement is going to happen at a time. So this is one such wonderful opportunity for the present customers. And then NEFT, that is National Electronic Fund Transfer. It is an Indian system of electronic transfer of money from one bank or a bank branch to other. So that NEFT, earlier days they used to charge for the NEFT charges. NEFT, for now, recently the government of India, at this pandemic situation, decided to not to charge anything for these electronic fund transfers. Then it is actually helps the individual firms, corporates to have electronically transfer funds from any branch, any bank branch, so that it can be done for anybody, so called as individual to individual or individual to corporate or individual to firm. Likewise, firm to individual, corporate or firm, so that whoever having account in the country, that is very important. It's not possible for somebody who is residing outside the country. Okay, this NEFT is basically for within the country service. And you see the charges, or you can say the minimum amount that can be availed. So that RTGS, we got 2 lakhs as minimum amount, and upper ceiling is not been given, so not been restricted. And NEFT, it is when it comes to NEFT, no minimum amount, so that means you can transfer any amount, and upper ceiling is also not been given. So that you see, but when it comes to this remittances, it is 50,000 maximum that been given here, so that the transaction for one particular single individual transaction, that is what happened with the NEFT and RTGS. Now let us move to ECS. This is one very important thing for retail payments, especially electronically clearing services, where whenever there is a clearing service for more number of customers or more number of payments or receipts to be done of similar nature and with lesser payment. So this sort of service is really helpful for those companies as well as for those government departments whenever they want to do this making or receiving of such transactions. So they go for this, and large volumes are going to be done at a single payment, so that single service, so large volumes of payments rather than going with individual funds transfer. So this actually helps them to do, and you can say to make it quicker and easier for these companies or government departments. Now moving to the next concept, that is ATMs. You see, ATMs are also one such that it is a most common facility nowadays. You cannot imagine without these ATMs to have these transactions. And earlier it was started with the view of just having withdrawals, or you can say checking of balance. Later on, even you can have a depository system with the ATMs. And one more is we going to have various services like payments can be done, registrations, and you can transfer money. Even the money transfer is also available with ATMs. Mainly ATMs are computer controlled devices, so that it all works with the computer software and all, and it also required the network to be useful. And customers can make withdrawals and check balances that can be done here. It is also involving any individual, and it is not about taking anybody help here, and individually can do that. And we see at present there are various features are being given with ATMs, and they also given through these ATMs like the other services. And when you talk about amount of ATMs that are existing, in 2015 it was 0.18 million in our country. Later on in 2019, the latest, it is 0.21 millions. But the growth of these are not been tremendously improving. It is actually coming down in certain areas due to various factors. And improvement in mobile banking, and about e-banking system, and where many of the customers are now adapting with the mobile banking system, the number has coming down here. And even some semi-urban and rural areas, still people are depending on this physical currency, so that's why this existence of ATM is still required. And many of the ATMs, that is 70% of ATMs, are under the public sector banks, and remaining are private sector banks. But moreover, like it is showing that the number of such ATMs is also coming down in the latest time. So these are the various innovations. You see what has happened in Indian banking system, and this actually helping both the parties, like customers, that is the users, are also getting advantage. At the same time, the business of banks are also getting improved. So this is a really good thing for banking system, and it helps the economy to grow fast and as well as vast, right? So I hope you understood the concept, and thank you very much for your valuable time, and please go through this video and try to answer the questions. Thank you very much.